President Frost, members of the Harvard Corporation and the boards of officers, members of the faculty, proud parents, and above all, veterans. The first thing I would like to say is thank you. Not only has Harvard given me an extraordinary honor, but the weeks of fears and nausea I have endured. At the thought of reading this commencement address have made me lose weight. A win-win situation. Now all I have to do is take deep breaths, squeeze at the breast panels, and convince myself that I am the world's flattest women to union. Delivering the commencement address is a present possibility, also a toast, until I cast my path to my own graduation. The commencement speaker that day was the distinguished British philosopher Margaret Mary Quaner. Reflecting on her speech has helped me enormously in writing this one, because it turns out that I can't remember a single word she said. This liberating discovery enables me to recede without any fears that I might inadvertently influence you. To abundance, romance, careers, business, the law of politics for the British realize of becoming a phrase we are. You see, if all you remember in years to come is the way we your eyes come out ahead of Baroness marijuana. Achievable goals, the first steps to self-improvement. Actually, I have racked my mind and heart for what I had to say to you today. I have asked myself what I wish I had known at my own graduation. With important lessons I have learned in the 21 years that have expired between that day and this. I have come up with two answers. On these wonderful days when we are ready to celebrate your academic success, I have decided to talk to you about the benefits of failure. As you stand on the threshold is sometimes gone. I want to extol the rules of importance and imagination. This message consists of paradoxical choices, but bear with me. Looking back at the 21 years old that I was at graduation is a slightly uncomfortable experience for the 42 years old that she has become half my lifetime ago. I was striking an easy balance between the ambitions that I have for myself and what was closest to me impacted to us. I was convinced that the only thing I wanted to do ever was to write novels. However, my parents, both of whom came from impoverished and neither of whom had been to college, took the view that my overcultured imagination was an amusing personal quirk that would never pay a mortgage or secure a pension. I know that the irony strikes me the forces of cartoons are for now. So they had their would like to vocational degrees. I wanted to study English literature. I compromised for risk that in retrospect justified nobody, and I went up to study modern languages. Hardly had my parents' car rounded the corner at the end of the road that I ditched German and sculpture up down the classic corridor. I cannot remember telling my parents that I was studying classes. They might well have found out for the first time on graduation day. Of all the subjects on this planet, I think they would have been hard put. To name one place useful than Chris mythology when it came to securing the keys to an executive bedroom. I would like to make it clear in parentheses that I do not blame my parents for their point of view. There's a expiry date on blaming your parents for steering you in the wrong direction. The moment you are old enough to take the wheels, responsibility flies with you. What's more, I cannot criticize my parents for hoping that I would never experience poverty. They have been poor themselves and I have since been poor, and I quite agree with them. That is not an ennobling appearance. Poverty entails fear and stress, and sometimes depression. It means a house and petty humiliations and hardships. Climbing out of poverty by your own efforts and that is indeed something I want to praise yourself, but poverty itself is romanticized only by fools. What I faced most for myself at your age was not poverty, but failure. At your age, in spite of distinct place of motivation at university, where I had spent far too long in the coffee pot writing stories and far too little time of lectures, I had sickness for passing examinations, and that, for years, had been the measure of success in my life, and thus of my fears. Now, I am not young enough to suppose that because you are young, rich, and well educated, you have never known hardships or heartbreak. Talent, intelligence, never yet inoculated anyone embrace the praise of the face, and I do not for a moment suppose that everyone here is enjoying an existence of fruitless privileges and contentment. However, the fact that you are graduating from Harvard suggests that you are not very well acquainted with failure. You must be present by the fears of failure, quite as much as a desire for success. Indeed, your conceptions of failure might not be too far from the average person's idea of success. So high have you already flown? Ultimately, we all have to decide for ourselves what constitutes failure, but the world is quite eager to give you a set of criteria if you let it. So I think it's fair to say that by any conventional measure, a mere 7 years after my graduation day, I have failed on an epic scale. An exceptionally short-flight marriage have lost, and I was childless, alone parents, and I suppose it is possible to be modern Christians without being homeless. The fears that my parents had for me and that I had for myself, I have broken to pass. And by every usual standards, I was the biggest failure I knew. Now I am not going to stand here and tell you the failure is fun. The spirit of my life was that one, and I had no idea there was going to be what the press has seen references as a kind of fairy tale resolution. I had no idea then how far the tunnel intended, and for a long time, any flights at the end of it was a half rather than reality. So why do I talk about the benefits of failure? Simply because failure means a stripping away of the inessential. I just pretended to myself that I was anything other than what I was, and began to divert all my energy into finishing the only work that mattered to me. Had I really succeeded at anything else, I might never have found the determination to succeed in the one arenas I believe I truly belonged. I was set free, because my greatest fears had been realized, and I was still alive, and I still had a daughter home at the door, and I have an outright pride as a big idea. And so proportion became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life. You might never fail on the scales I did, but some failures imply is inevitable. It's impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live as cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default. Failure gave me an inner security that I had never attained by passing examinations. Failure taught me things about myself that I could have learned over the way. I discovered that I had strong will. I was disciplined as a plastic. I also found out that I had friends whose value was truly about the prices of rupees. The knowledge that you have emerged wiser and stronger from setbacks means that you are even secure is your ability to survive. You will never truly know yourself on the strength of your relationships until both have been tested by adversity. Such knowledge is a two-ribbed. Fourth one, that is the painful one, and it's a big word more than any qualification I ever earned. So even attempting, I would tell my 21 years old self the personal happiness lies in knowing the flight is not a checklist of acquisition or achievements. Your qualifications, your CV, are not your life. Do you meet many people of my age and older who confuse the two? Flight is difficult and complicated and beyond anyone's total control. And the humility to know that we are enable you to survive its vicissitudes. Now you might think that I chose my second tips in the importance of managing because of the past playing rebuilding my life, but no, it's not wholly so. Those are personal I will defend the values of bedtime stories to my last breaths. I have learned to value imagination in a most broad sense. Imagination is not only the uniquely human capacities to envision that we see not, and therefore the powers of invention and innovation. In its place more transformative still and revelatory capacity, it is the power enables us to empathize with humans whose experiences we have never shared. One of the brightest formative experiences of my life recedes Harry Potter, who is informed much of what I successfully wrote those books. This revelation came in the form of one of my earliest day jobs. Though I was lucky enough to write stories during my lunch hours, I made friends in my early 20s by working at the Reference Research Department at Amnesty International's headquarters in London. There's my little affairs I read hastily flipped letters, smuggled out of total literary regimes by men and women who were present in imprisonments to inform the outside world of what had happened to them. I saw photographs of those who had disappeared without trace, sent to amnesty by their disparate families and friends. I read the testimony of total victims and saw pictures of their interests. I upon handwritten eyewitness accounts of summary trials and executions, kidnappings and press. Many of my co-workers were ex-political prisoners, people who had been displaced from their homes or fled into exile because they had the temerity to speak against their governments. Visitors to our office allude who come to give information or to try and find out what happens to those they have fled behind. I shall never forget the African torture victim, a young man no older than I was at that time, who had become mentally ill after all he had endured in his homeland. He trembled and controlled the police and he spoke into a video camera about the brutally inflicted upon him. He was a foot taller than I was and seemed as embarrassed as a child. I was given the job of escorting him back to the underground station afterwards, and this man, whose flight has been shortened by cruelty, took my hands with exquisite courtesy and wished me future happiness. And as long as I live, I shall remember walking along empty corridor and suddenly hearing from behind a closed door a scream of pain and horror such as I have never heard since. The door opened, and the researcher spoke out her head and told me to run and make a hot drink for the young man sitting with her. She had just had to him the news that in retaliation for his own outspokenness against his country's regimes, his mother has been seized and executed. Every day of my working weeks in my early 20s, I was reminded how incredibly fortunate I was to be in a country with a democratic elected parliament where little representation and public trials were the price of everyone. Every day, I saw more evidence about the evils humankind will inflict on the fellow humans to gain or maintain power. I began to nightmares, literal nightmares, about some of the things I saw, heard, and read. And yet, I also felt more about human fruitfulness at Amnesty International than I have ever known before. Amnesty mobilizes thousands of people who have never been imprisoned for their beliefs to act on behalf of those who have. The powers of human empathy, leading to collective action, save lives, and free prisoners. Ordinary people whose personal well-being and security are assured join together in huge numbers to save people we do not know and will never meet. My small participation in that process was one of the most humbling and inspiring experiences of my life. Unlike any other creatures on this planet, humans can learn and understand without having experienced. They can think themselves into other people's places. Of course, these are powers like my friends of fictional magic that's immorally natural. One must use such an ability to manipulate or control, just as much as to understand or sympathize. And many prefer not to exercise their imaginations at all. They choose to remain comfortably within the bounds of their own appearance, never troubling to wonder how it would feel to have been born older than they are. They can be forced to hear dreams or to be inside cages. They can close their minds and hearts to any suffering that do not stop them personally. They can be forced to know. I might be tempted to envy people who can feel that way, except that they do not think they have fewer nightmares than I do. Choosing to live on narrow spaces leads to fundamental phobias, and that brings it on terrors. I think the willfulness and imaginative seem more monsters. They are often more afraid. What is more? Those who choose not to empathize enable real monsters. For without ever committing an act of altruism for ourselves, we collude with it, rule out of empathy. One of the romantic things applied at the end of the classic Hollywood with the adventure at the age of 18. In search of something you could not define, what is, written by the Chris Otto-Postas. What we achieve is slowly retraced out of reality. This is an astonishing statement, and yet ruins 1,000 times every day of our lives. It embraces apart our inescapable connection with the outside world. The present we tap other people's lives simply by existing. But how much more are you, Harvard graduates of 2008, likely to tap other people's lives? Your intelligence, your capacities for Harvard, the education you have earned and received, your unique status and unique responsibilities. Even your nationality sets you apart. The brain maturities of you belong to the world's only municipal power. The way you vote, the way you fly, the way you protest, the presence you bring to the bear on your government has an impact way beyond your opponents. This is your revenge and your opponent. If you choose to use your status and influence to raise your voice on behalf of those who have no voice, if you choose to identify not only with the power but with the powerless, if you retain the ability to message yourself into the place of those who do not have your advantages, then with not only your families you survive your existence, but thousands of millions of people whose reality you have had trans. We do not need magic to change the world. We carry all the powers we need inside ourselves already. We have the powers to make it better. I am nearly finished. I have one last hope for you, which is something that everyone has at 21. The friends with whom I start on graduation day have been my friends for life. They are my children's parents, the people to whom I've been able to turn in times of trouble. People who have been kind and not to me when I took their names to predict Easter. At our graduations, we were powered by enormous affection, by our shared experience of a time that could never come again, and of course, by the knowledge that we have certain photographic evidence that we is essentially valuable. If any of us ran for Prime Minister, So today, I wish you nothing better than similar friendships. And tomorrow, I hope that even if you remember not a single word of mine, you remember some of sadness, another of those of romance I met. When I fled down the classic corridor and we researched some career platters in search of ancient wisdom. As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters. I wish you all very good flights. Thank you very much.